Today is January 30th, 2024. Oh, today the strippers showed up again. I was in Target in Belden. The person I was with, one of them walked ahead and said, "Look at that." I said, "I know they're here." Even dressed in regular clothes, they're skanky. Okay? Not dressed like normal people. They go around, they're walking around laughing and looking at me. They're strippers and prostitutes. Okay? They, were laughing. Lauren, and they were talking about Lauren getting the money and Will giving it to her. That they've been saying that Will's dating one of the stripper prostitutes. The FBI agent stole the money, gave it to that Lauren. Told everybody from Canton to Belden to Maslin to Akron. That agent that called me back stole my money and gave it to one of the stripper prostitutes. And said that's why nobody helped her, because he stole that money for the Lauren. Someone needs to be taking this up with him. And, I go in and they're walking around and they're talking about it, okay? Some lady said they told everybody to stay out of this, that the strippers and prostitutes are doing this. Well, honey, we're going to have a long talk about this. You can't be an attorney. You can't be some officer of the law. You can't know the law at all. You have to be a jack shit dumbass bitch. You know why? Because nobody had to raid my home before. Like Officer Reinhardt in Louisville. Even the FBI would go to jail being in your home. Outside that protected light case with statements that agent had agreed to protect you, or they couldn't even be in your home. Excuse me, Portage County Sheriffs. What these people did is illegal. Okay? It was none of us, nor did we have knowledge of it. And what they did is illegal. You can look at it. It's the Fourth Amendment in the Constitution, yes. Maslin Police, nothing they have is admissible. Ravenna Police, it's illegal what they did. So, and I talked to an attorney. He agreed with the same thing all the police said. Prosecutor's office. So, who are you? You're a drug bitch. Or a stupid riffraff. They're all fooling you. From that agent to the strippers to the drug cartel. Nobody had a right way home. Like they said in Target on Sunday in Belden. Some guy's on the phone and said it doesn't even count anything. There's nothing against her. It doesn't count what they did before. Nobody had a right in her home. They even had somebody impersonate a doctor, and that agent made fun of her for it. Oh, honey, he was a horrible, mean bastard to me on the phone. You actually listened to the recorded line? They sold it. The M13 drug cartel that was working for the Russians sold it. Where they're hacking into live streaming protected custody cases, they sold that agent being a bastard to me. I told him on a recorded line, somebody told on me the night before. He calls me a liar. It's verified by the police. It was him. My ex-husband told Danny that he talked to him at that church. And hundreds seen him tell on me. It was him. With his own confession later on in the conversation, he talked to everybody. Okay? I tell him, the guy threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He calls me a liar. I tell him he tried to kidnap me before. He calls me a liar. Terry had seen him. I went to tell him Terry's seen him. He's like, oh, come on. I've already met with that family that lost their son in an accident 15 years before. 15 years before. Her father was speeding, runs a stop sign into a semi, and the impact blows up their vehicle and kills himself and their child. I'm at home with my family. Went through 6 to 10 surgeries. My muscles locked up. Okay? I go to the wrong doctors afterwards, and they falsely diagnose me across the board, give me the wrong meds, and I swell from my feet up into my brain. My thyroid quits working, my adrenal gland, my brain swelling. They lied that I have brain tumors. I end up in the cardiac ward on nitro and pills and on calcium blockers. I'm dying from medical malpractice, and my whole body's so swollen I gained 150 pounds in 9 months. I almost died from medical malpractice. Took another doctor to tell on him. And it took me 9 months to slowly get well. It's like a 4-year ordeal. Okay? A minister made it up 6 months later after I got well. 2 months after the traffic accident that I had nothing to do with. I was almost well before that traffic accident, going through my own thing. My own life, just went to the same church as these bastards. Just attended the same church. Nothing to do with them. They had nothing to do with my surgeries, the false diagnosing, the wrong medications almost killing me, and then another doctor telling on him, and me slowly over 9 months learning to walk again. And since I got off the medication, everything started working again. They almost killed me. Documented medical malpractice, documented medication errors. Okay? 2002. All right. 2003, that's when that traffic accident happened. I was almost well. I had nothing to do with it. Me and my whole family is at home. Brian had to come tell us. And this lady at that church, her father was speeding on a back road, runs a stop sign into a semi, and it blows up. They're going so fast, it blows up the vehicle. He's not even showable, and that kid gets ejected and gets killed. Whose fault is it? It's her father's. Like they said, they need to learn to deal with the grief of her father, or the shame of her father killing her kid. They need to learn to deal with the shame of it. The shame. Instead of them wanting to kill other people that had nothing to do with it. Start thinking of it that way. All right? That minister made up a shitty baby lie. Oh, you were faking through all that. 4 years. 4 years. I have scars all over me. MRI report showing the swelling. False diagnosis of brain tumors. Blood work showing everything shutting down. And then the fentanyl patches of me getting on high doses of pain medicine. So I got out moving and slowly got better and learned to walk again. Then had to get off the fentanyl patches. I had to work my ass off to get well. And how dare they even open their mouth? I had nothing to do with that kid's death. So that agent, FBI agent on a recorded line, he's like, oh, when I tell him that guy threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle, that he tried to kidnap me before, he's called me a liar. He had already killed my coworker, Lori's family member. There was a warrant out for him. And information on how to find him, and I'm trying to tell him. And here they had hired the drug cartel to kill me. Okay? And I'm trying to describe this guy, and he's calling me a liar. And he tells me, either say you're lying or arrest you. I said, but he tried to kidnap me before. You liar? Now I went to tell him Terry seen him. And he's like, even if a church person seen them trying to kidnap you and it actually happened, it's not like they'd ever back your story. Terry's seen him, and she let me tape her with her permission. She did too. He's the one that went on to take my house manager, Marlisa's niece. She's dead because the FBI agent will. And so are thousands. Because he let it happen. Because he's busy out like Dave dating a prostitute. A serial killer, a child molester? Okay? I ended up getting tortured by those bastards, skull bashed and almost murdered, human trafficked, and left there by one of the highest law enforcement agencies in the country. I got left there because he was dating a prostitute. Dating Lauren. One of the strippers. Okay? Alright, and I'm telling him that guy tried to kidnap me before. You liar. Even if the church person even seen him, they wouldn't even back you. I already talked to that family that lost their son in that traffic accident 15 years before. Don't even go to the church. They had to hunt me down. Do you realize how mentally ill that is? I didn't even go to their church. They had to hunt me down 15 years later on a baby lie. A minister thought I caught his son in adultery, so 6 months later made up a lie that you were faking through all that. A minister made it up. A baby lie. It's that pathetic. He's like, I've had that family in my office that lost their kid 15 years before. And how it ruined their whole life. You faking yours. Like, who ruined their whole life? Her father did when he was speeding, ran a stop sign into a semi and killed her kid. Her father did. Put the grief where it belongs. Not on somebody just made shit up on. You just want to kill somebody because you're full of hate and anger. Huh? You need to realize what you've done. I've had those church people in my office, and I've talked to all of them and how you ruined all their lives. I didn't touch their lives. And how dare he involve himself in religious heresy. Okay? Then he's like, and I said, but I really was sick. He's like, was there a camera above that bench when you heard that man come up behind you and threaten to knife you? I said, I don't know. You either say you're lying or I'll put you in jail. I'm like, what? He said, you either say it or I'll arrest you. I'm like, fine, whatever. Now I want you to say you were faking you were sick. I was really sick. He's like, you liar. And I said, I really was sick. I have all these documents. I have scars all over me. All my family physicians. It's a documented medication error. Said it in front of the cops when the case first started. Made sure they knew. Documented medical malpractice. Okay? He's like, you either say you were faking you were sick, or I'll leave you there. And I'm like, but I really was sick. He's like, you either say it, or I'll leave you there. I said, but they're going to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. On a recorded line. He needs arrested. I've told police out of this area, and they want to know what's wrong with our local cops. They didn't arrest him on the first day. Badgering Laws, Department of Justice, 1729. He should have been arrested the first day for aiding and abetting crimes. Okay? He said, you either say you're faking you were sick, or I'll leave you there. I said, but they'll kill me. So you either say, please don't let him kill me. Whatever you do, please don't let him kill me. Then say it, or I'll leave you there. I'm like, fine, whatever. Ha! What did you just say? He had the Vegas in their office and the church people. Okay. And he's like, why would the FBI help a person like you? They're going to try to kill me. So? They've tried to kill me. So? He's like, give me a real reason. And the other agent yells out, another golden ticket. Well, we could always use Pete's tape of wear it with yourself. I don't even know who Pete is, and I found out it's a photoshopping of washing in the other room and stocking tapes by the drug cartel. Dave was dating Michelle, one of those strippers, and it was her dad and his drug friends that had been covering me with bruises, where I was covered with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, infected, almost passing out. And they had been in there drugging me up, telling me say weirdo stuff I heard. I never talked to anybody. I was waking up with all those marks. I was getting sick on my Diet Cokes. And hours would pass, and here they're supposed to Photoshop washing in the other room and drug me up and told me say stuff that I never talked to anybody. It's a big sextortion scheme. I said, well, what are you talking about? He's like, you either... He said, well, how do you say it? He's like, stop, she don't know. And I said, what are you talking about? I've never met him yet. I didn't even know who he was for a year. The only Pete I knew was my brother in Medina. I had no clue what he was talking about. I said, what are you talking about? Because it's a shower scene in the other room, I'm washing. Okay. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he yells out something about Pete again. And some kind of roofie confession, because I've never talked to him. And he's laughing, stop, you don't know. I bet if you're going to say you don't know about Pete, you're going to say you don't know about some doctor. So da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I had this woman impersonate me and use my insurance from the second year of marriage. And my ex-husband was probably cheating on me and let one of his girlfriends use my insurance. She even stayed in the hospital and stuff like that. And I was thinking that maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. And he's like, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I don't know, and I found out it was a drug cartel guy impersonating a doctor. The real law is if a doctor shares your information or sells it, it's 10 years federal prison and a $250,000 fine. Somebody impersonating a doctor is 1 to 10. Stalking tapes or Peking Tom tapes, they are not admissible. Anything can be photoshopped from words to scenes, and they've already confessed they photoshopped the washing scenes and they drugged me and told me say whatever it is. And all kinds of crazy crap since 18, and that they use this as a drug scam for the drug dealers to fight in this area. Nobody would tell on them. They just use me as a pawn. Okay? And that agent's laughing at a rape victim that's being scammed by the drug cartel. And instead of doing his damn job and arresting him. And he's like, give me a real reason. I told him about my brother-in-law, Craig, that died working at the Pentagon. He offers to take me somewhere and leave me. I don't have money to start. And then he offers me the informant program to get information on Dave and the churches, $5,000 a month. And Dave told Danny that he hired Pete on his own as his girlfriend's dad in the drug cartel. So he's already talked to Dave and the church people in the Vegas. So why on earth would you ever even ask somebody to stay quiet, let alone, I found out even by attorneys, police officers in the Department of Justice and in the Constitution, freedom of speech, he's only a police officer. He cannot ask you to stay quiet about anything. And let alone, he already confessed he talked to everyone. So I want you to think about that. And he's like, you'll have $5,000 a month, immunity for life, even when you tell. I'll pull you out if it gets too bad. I'll make sure no man touches you, and we'll always put it back as if it never happened, and only for you would we ever do this for. And you can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. And you'll have that money to live on when you move out. Okay? But if you try to tell someone, unless you're crazy. He already admitted he talked to everyone. He doesn't have the authority to list me crazy. He can't talk to me like that. I've talked to attorneys, everything. He's just a police officer. He don't even have the authority to ask you to stay quiet. He was only bullying me. I've talked to the prosecutor's office and other police departments. And badgering laws, Department of Justice 1729, they have to take your statement if they believe you or not. The day that any officer ever calls you a liar, report them to the Department of Justice, the BCI in Ohio, and the Ohio Attorney General, and they will pull their badge. I've went out to eat with officers. If someone accuses you of badgering and they can prove it, they automatically lose their badge and they can go to jail. Like the Tuscarora Sheriff said, you can never tell anybody not to believe somebody and not to help them. You go to jail for it. I've talked to other ones. They can be held financially and physically responsible and accountable for the other person's crimes. It's aiding and abetting. And where those prostitutes are laughing, Lauren got all the money. And with Will dating Lauren, nobody will help her. He's dating a fucking child molester. He's dating a fucking drug cartel person. And he's stealing from cases to give it to her. Someone needs to arrest this dumbass. He's dangerous.